Rod Rock, Superintendent of Clarkson Community Schools, and this is the TV program Real Learning, where we highlight the excellent teaching and learning that happens every day in the Clarkson Community Schools. Today we have a special episode where we want to tell you about the musical that's coming up on February 24th, 25th, and 26th in the Clarkson High School Auditorium. It's Rodgers and Hammerstein's Carousel, and I'm fortunate to be here today with members of the cast and crew. So if we could take a moment to go around and just introduce yourselves, if you don't mind. Stephanie, starting out, and tell us what your role is in the production.
Well, I'm Stephanie, and I play clarinet in the pit orchestra, which is directed by Mr. Lewis, and we basically just kind of provide the music that accompanies the actors in the musical.
I'm Ellie, and I work backstage as a crew chief and just set up all the sets for the show and make them and stuff.
I'm Mr. Lewis. I conduct the pit orchestra and try and help the actors up on stage while they're performing.
I'm Amy Seaman. I'm the theater manager for Clarkson Schools, but for the production, I'm the technical theater director.
I'm Luke Hodson. I'm playing Billy Bigelow in the production of Carousel at our school, and I'm just looking forward to performing.
And as our community probably knows, Mr. Jeff Tice has been the director of the program, the theater program, for I think 25 years.
I think it's 24.
24 years. And he has a very long history, and this is his final year with the program. He's retiring, and he does such a fantastic job. He carried on from the previous the director, Mrs. Gibson, who was here for I don't know how many years before that. Did you work with her, Amy?
Well, she started the year I graduated. She retired the year I graduated, so I know she retired in 92.
In 92. So it's been an outstanding program for many, many years. And you won't want to miss this because our students and our staff so amazingly talented. And you may not be aware of all of the time and energy that goes into putting on such a production. When you see it, you won't see any flaws. You'll just see perfection and the number of hours that have gone into this. So Stephanie, do you mind just telling us a little bit about how much time have you put into this? What's gone into it for you?
Well, for like pit orchestra, we usually start like 3 or 4 weeks before the actual performance, which is relatively close to compared to like where the actors where they start like the previous year before the actual performances. So we usually have 2 rehearsals for about 2 hours. So we read through each of the acts. Just like before, we have what's called like orchestra day, which is the first day that the cast actually rehearses with the pit orchestra, and then from then on we rehearse with the cast usually every night from like 3:30 to 7.
Okay, and this is on top of all the schoolwork you do and the rest of your life. So how about you, Ellie? What kind of time do you put into this?
I put in a lot of time. A couple months before the show goes on. We start by like building all the sets and painting and stuff, which is a lot of hard work. We stay after school for a couple hours every day, and then when crew starts and practice for the show, then we practice scene changes and stuff. So there's a lot of hard work for that.
And how about you, Mike?
Well, as Stephanie mentioned, we start up typically about the end of January, have a couple of rehearsals kind of on our own to hash out the parts and get everybody somewhat comfortable with how it's all going to work, and then bring in the cast. I do a little bit of work with Mr. Tice and Mr. Peterson, our choral director, leading up to that, just so we have an idea of some of the tempos and where any of the cuts would be, because usually when you get the orchestra books, there's been changes made. Either we're going to take out these 20 measures here or whatever, just so we have that in place for that first rehearsal or shortly thereafter, so that we can kind of keep that flowing when we finally go to put it with the actors and actresses on stage.
And besides yourself, with your directing, there are a number of other adults, right, and students as well who are in the...
We have, I think it's 24 students and adults this year. We usually have 2 or 3 adults that are down in the pit with us, depending upon the year and kind of the needs. For instance, this year we have our lead trumpet player is an adult, and we have a bass player that's an adult as well, and a bassoonist. The rest are all the students down in the pit, though. And it's
Okay.
nice to have those adults down in there because they are comfortable doing these shows. They kind of know how this works, and the students can kind of learn from that as well, and kind of pick up how a professional musician would go about preparing for doing a live show.
Okay. And you'll want to, I know you don't mind, Mike, if people come up and peek over the edge. And
Not at all. Not at all.
When you listen to the show, when you watch the show, you won't believe that it's not a recording going on. They're so professional and so amazing. And the choreographing and everything that goes into it is really quite remarkable. So, Amy, do you want to talk a little bit about your role and how much goes into this?
Well, I would say for the technical theater side of it, Jeff Tice and I start planning the summer before. So we're putting together, getting our blueprints organized and finding rehearsal schedules and stuff like that. And so we're planning before school even starts. Then when school starts, I meet with students like Ellie, who are my crew chiefs and my leaders in the different areas of technical theater, such as like costume chair people and set shop chair people and tickets and ushering. And we have a meeting once school starts to kind of put everything, get a plan in motion. And then usually it happens around Halloween, the end of October or the very beginning of November, that we start working in the scene shop. And we've actually started doing that the past couple years, even before they audition for the musical. So we get started, we start building and planning, and then for the beginning part, the students kind of come and go as their time allows. But I would say once we get back from the holiday break in January, we're in it to win it. We're in it for the long haul. We're there every day after school, at least until 6. And as we get closer to the deadline, sometimes it's later than that. And then we've been fortunate this year that we didn't have to do any weekends, but many times there's been full Saturdays and of working on set pieces and getting everything ready for. And now the part that we're at right now is really the fun part where it all starts to click and things start to look like a show. And we're really excited for people to get in there and see what we've been working on.
Wonderful, thank you. Luke, you want to talk a little bit about what you put into it?
I think that the entirety of the high school musicals that we do, I think, is really a testament to the creative collaboration that Clarkson High School gets to put together. And it's really an amazing thing that we get to experience and show the community around us. Really, all of the talent that Clarkson has, whether it be in music, whether it be in tech, whether it be in acting, whatever you want to take away from it. But in terms of, I guess, an actor's perspective of the work that you have to put in, I'd say it probably starts around late October is when they typically audition. I believe auditions were late October this year. And it's essentially just being a creative conduit for what people have written for you, what people want to see from you, and what you want to ultimately put into your performance. So I think that we really have a really amazing opportunity to express ourselves and express art that other people create, and being able to work with each other individually in a group setting, I think is something that's really special.
To make it come to life in a seamless way.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing to me. So Luke, do you mind telling us a little bit about the show itself? What it's about?
Yeah, sure, and I'll let Miss Seaman do that too. But so essentially, to me, Carousel, the Rodgers and Hammerstein's Carousel, I think really helps to portray the beauty and tragedy within life, and the struggle and joy that people experience within it. I think ultimately it's a story about redemption and the human condition, and how we all work toward what we long for in life. And it's ultimately a story of a community that comes together through tragedy and works forward into the future.
Did you want to add anything?
I think you did a beautiful job describing it. It really is, it's not necessarily a play that has a happy ending. Yes, it kind of does have a happy ending because it's about redemption. It just really is a story about the human condition, and you really did a nice job.
I just appreciate how it just displays life, I think. Whether it's good or bad, I think it combines both well in a realistic way. That I hope people take something away from.
Okay. Luke, do you mind sharing a little bit about your aspirations beyond high school and some of the things you've been involved with?
Yeah, sure. So I started acting around probably 8 years old at a local theater called Mount Zion Mount Zion School of Performing Arts, which then became and added to the Mount Zion Youth Theater. I ended up participating in high school productions at Clarkson High School. I've done some film on the side too, which has been very fun. It's been a good character builder, I think, and just professionally as well. But for college plans, I'm thinking of a dual major in international studies and theater, wherever that takes me. I'm not quite sure yet, but I look forward to it.
So you have some wonderful opportunities through auditions at some
absolutely,
great schools.
And a bulk of the opportunities that I've had have been through Clarkson High School, especially.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fortunate enough to participate in a local feature film last year that I actually got through Mr. Tice, who
Mm-hmm.
was contacted by the director of the film, Gary Bozick, to go on audition for that, and I was fortunate enough to get the part. So really just all the experience that Clarkson High School has been able to provide for me that has led me to the point I am now. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. So speaking of Mr. Tice, I just want to give anyone a chance to say a few words about maybe what he's meant to you and the work that you've done with him. And anybody want to share a thought? I know some of you had more experience than others.
I'll go ahead and start. Just as a colleague, it's been wonderful. The time I've been in Clarkson since '95. I think Mr. Tice came in a couple years before me, actually, and we've been able to work the last 10 years, on musicals, directly in that. It's been nice having that type of individual to go back and forth with. Someone you just sit down, and if you need to decide something out, both of you are open to making a minor change or flexible enough to go with what the other person has in mind, which is nice. So hopefully that'll continue on next year. That's always the great unknown as some changes are made. But hopefully that continues, because it's been really nice working with him the last few years.
Thank you.
I'll say something. I would have to say that, Mike's absolutely right. I've worked with Jeff since he started the year after I graduated. I know a lot of people who actually had him as a teacher, who I'm still friends with, and when I came back to work at Clarkston, it was a real pleasure to get to work with him. He is very willing to compromise. He gives, as a creative person myself, he gives me creative freedom when doing sets and costumes, but then he's also open to collaborative ideas and constructive. He will give, I wouldn't even call it criticism, but we'll bounce ideas off of each other. We just work really well together.
Mm-hmm.
And since we've worked so long together, I really think of him as my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get a little emotional. I really am going to miss him when he's gone. I know it's very bittersweet, because I know that retirement's going to open up a lot of adventure. It's going to open up a different path in his life, and I'm happy for him in that aspect, but I'm really going to miss him. So, but he's been a great leader to the students and a great colleague.
Thank you.
My turn. So essentially, I guess from a student's perspective, I couldn't be more lucky to have Mr. Tice throughout the 4 years that I've been able to do musical, that I've been able to be a part of the Clarkson High School experience. Really, Mr. Tice he's such a creative person, and I just really appreciate everything that he's able to do for his students and for everyone that he comes in contact with. I think he really impacts the lives that he is introduced to, and so I think that's something that will carry with him regardless of where he decides to go after his retirement. Even on a personal level, I think one thing that I admire the most about Mr. Tice is, as a director, he's able to treat students as if they were actually within the field that they would like to be in. So he actually treats you like an actor. If you're a tech person, he treats you like an actual tech person rather than a student per se. Like there's still the developmental process. He still provides a developmental process for anyone who's aspiring to be what they want to be. But I think that he provides an excellent backbone and realistic element to what you want to do in the future, and how he helps you move forward with what you want to produce in the future, I think is one of his greatest assets.
Thank you very much. So I hope people will come out and see the show on February 25th, 26th, and 27th. And I hope as you watch, you'll keep in mind how much time has gone into this production, all of the talented people involved. I consider myself very, very blessed and fortunate to work with such outstanding young people and such outstanding professional educators in my work every day. And I really want you to see them in action and to appreciate the amazing things that they do. And I want to take this one last opportunity to thank Mr. Tice for all that he's given to this program, and to wish him the very best in the future. Thank you for tuning into the show.